Hello everyone, welcome back to my nursery. Welcome if you are new here. So I have this little girl because there's something I would like to share with you guys about this baby. My Benjamin by Natalie Blick, painted by me. I named her Brittany Noel. I painted her in December, so she was one of my Christmas babies. And I said in the last video when I changed her into these pajamas that I was going to start rooting her. So that is what the story I want to share with you guys about the process and the problem I ran into while trying to root little Brittany. So I didn't start rooting her right away when I shared her. I didn't start rooting her until last night. And before I go any further, if you're new here, please subscribe. Click the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I do new videos. And please, everyone, give the video a like. Hit the thumbs up button for me, please. Okay, so when I started rooting her last night, it was going pretty okay. All I was doing was the front hairline so she could have some bangs in the front. And then as I started going further back, I didn't go too far. I'm not going to take the headband off, and I'll explain why in a minute. So as I was poking my rooting needle in, rooting her hair, I noticed that it looked like to me that her paint was lifting. And I'm like, is my eyes playing tricks on me? I have been painting vinyl Reborns if you're new to my channel, but the rest of you always hear me say, since 2017. So I'm not new to painting vinyl Reborns at this point. What I am new to, and most of us are, is these new varnishes that we're using for the heat set paints, which used to be Genesis heat set paints. Now Genesis went out of business about, maybe it's been 3 years ago. And time goes so fast, it could be 4 years, but I'm thinking it's around 3 years ago. I still have my Genesis heat set paints as far as the pigments, the colors. But of course, a lot of us ran out of the varnishes. The paints last a long time because you only need a little bit of paint and it goes a long way. It's very concentrated. So I have a lot of my same paints from when I started in 2017, believe it or not. And they're still good. Nothing's wrong with them. I haven't had any issues with any dolls I've painted up until I got to this baby. The paint on her looks fine. I varnished her. She looks fine. She baked in the oven. Kind of okay. What I did notice when I first started painting her, like immediately, I would say by the third time I put her in the new wave oven, is that one of her ears, is it this side? Yes, this ear has a little bubble on it. If you guys can see that. You can't really tell, but there's a little bubble right at the edge of her ear, right there where my finger is. And I've had that happen a few times with dolls, not very often. I haven't had it happen on their ear though. Usually it's on like their finger or something like that. They'll get a bubble. There was one kit I remember that I really love painting. I'm not going to say which kit, but I painted 3 of that doll. And each time I painted it with each doll, and I purchased the kits at different times, the finger would get a bubble on it. And if I'm not mistaken, it was the same finger each time, each doll. And I painted them like, say, a year or more apart. They weren't back to back to back. So I figured with that doll, it looked like it was something compromising the vinyl in that doll. Like something just wasn't right. I've had another doll, the same thing, where the finger got a bubble. So I know sometimes the vinyl will bubble. You have to be careful with the heating, make sure your oven is set right, the timer and all of that. I know all of that. This baby, I'm telling you, about the third bake, which was very early on when I was painting her, that ear got a bubble, right? So now, getting back to last night when I started rooting her, and did I finish what I said about my paints? Okay, I ran out of the varnishes, but I have all of the Genesis, the original Genesis heat set paints. The only new stuff I've had to buy since Genesis went out of business is the varnish, like the matte varnish, all of the varnishes that I use, and I use all different ones that I used to. So I tried, once Genesis went out of business, I tried these new varnishes from the new, the new ones they're making. And I don't really care for any of the ones I've tried yet. But I was using them. But it's like they don't work the same as the original Genesis heat set varnishes did. And I'm so sad they went out of business, I'm telling you. So anyway, this baby has like, and the thing is, I can't completely 100% blame it on the varnish because I'm not sure. I think it is, but the problem is, as I said, the vinyl sometimes can have issues too. Her ear bubbled immediately as I started painting her. Third bake or so, she had the bubble on her ear. So for the rest of the time I was painting and baking her, I had to be really careful, and I didn't even put this side back where the heat would be hitting it directly every time she was in the oven. I turned her to this side. To just not to have that heat constantly on that ear, because I didn't want the bubble to bust. That's the thing. Usually if my dolls bubbles, like the ones that had the bubble on the fingers, I'll try to cover the hand with a cloth to keep that direct heat off those fingers, or I will try to put the arm a different way to keep the heat off the fingers so you don't constantly keep reheating the bubble. So far, I still will continue painting the dolls and I'll get them done, but they may have a bubble. But like I said, it was those 3 kits I painted. All 3 of them, the hand got the bubble, one of the fingers, and it was the same kit, which is weird. So I feel like something was up with that particular kit. And I actually want another one of that kit, but I'm scared. Okay. So with this baby, as I was rooting her, her paint on her head began to lift, you guys. Because I'm like, when I first seen it, I'm like, is my eyes playing tricks? Am I tired? Do I need to go to bed? So I kept going. I was like, nah, it can't be. Because this baby, I done put layers and layers of paint on her. She's baked, baked, baked. So I know her paint is cured and all of that. She was fine. You could change her. The paint is on her good. I could rub on her and all of that. She's fine. But when I started rooting her, the paint on her scalp, right where I didn't go any further than the front right here. Once that started happening, because I don't want to ruin her whole head, and you can see the paint lifted, and the little spots that it lifted, it actually, when I brushed it, it came off. I've never, since 2017 to now, had that happen to any doll from rooting after you paint them. That's the weirdest thing. I've never experienced that before. So now the thing is, and you know, at first, you guys who was watching my videos when I shared her in December, when I first finished painting her, and I was saying I didn't want to root her big head. I was going to buy her a wig. I kind of wish I would have stuck to that now. But no, I figured, okay, a lot of you were saying, no, root her And I would prefer her to have rooted hair over a wig. So I was like, and I have the hair and everything. So I was like, okay, I'm going to root her. Well, that's what happened when I started rooting her. So now I have to troubleshoot this and figure out, is it her vinyl that's causing this paint to lift? And because also when I started painting her, I realized too that her paint, the color is like, it took so long for this paint to really get on this vinyl and you could see the color. She has a lot of layers and she's not even dark skin. Okay. And it took so many layers for me to see this color on this baby. So that was another issue I had, but I've had that happen with some dolls. It just takes a long time for them to start to show the color. All right. So then I'm using these new varnishes, and I have 2 different ones from 2 different companies, but she only has one of those new varnishes on her, I believe. So it could be the new varnish. And then I'm also using a new thinner from one of the new companies. It could be the thinner, doesn't mix with the varnish, because I believe the thinner is from one new company and then the varnish is from a different new company. And I don't want to say the names because right now I don't know which thing is causing the issue. So I don't want to start calling out anything. But it's 2 different companies I've used, and I was going to try a new one that I haven't tried yet that I heard other people say it works well. That's what I'm going to try next. What I'm planning to do is order the new varnish, and then when I get it, I'm going to rematte her, revarnish her and everything, and then try to root her again and see what happens. I want to see if the new varnish will cure to her better and hold down her paint better if I go over it with the new varnish. And maybe then I could root her. If I start poking and the same thing happens, then I'm going to just stop and she's going to have to get a wig. Because I don't want to ruin my whole baby. And I really like this baby. Just trying to root her. And then the thing is, the reason why I want to try to revarnish her with a new different varnish is because I don't want to make the same mistakes on my other dolls I'm painting and the same thing happens. I'm kind of scared now. So I don't think I want to use that varnish I have. And it's 2 big jars I bought, pay all that money for it, and I'm scared to use them now because I don't want to mess up no more of my dolls. And another doll I'm painting right now, my Leo by Cassie Brace, which I'm almost done painting. And I was painting that baby and this baby at the same time. And I had started her first, so I finished her first. I'm almost done with that Leo, not this one back here. That's the first Leo I painted. I'm almost done with Leo up there. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to start rooting that Leo if I'm not sure about the varnish, because I've already put the same varnish on the other Leo. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I've heard some people, I'm thinking it's the varnish and not the doll's vinyl though. I'm thinking it's the varnish. I'm leaning towards it being the varnish. And that's because I've heard at least 2 other people mention that I've heard 2 other people mention that some of these new varnishes, is one of them in particular, it peels after you put it on your doll. So I'm thinking that is what the issue is. It's one particular varnish. It's new and it peels. That I've never had a doll hair, their head do that when I'm rooting the hair. Okay, so this Leo, I painted him a couple of months ago. He also had some issues with his varnish where it kind of made little, like he has little freckles. But that's not a big deal. It just looked like he has little birthmarks or freckles. But again, it was one of the new varnishes. But when I rooted him, his hair is fine. I didn't have no issues with rooting him. His paint is, everything stayed intact when I rooted him. So in his paint, he has a slight texture, which I like. And his paint is fine, but again, I use a new varnish with him as well. I don't know if you guys can see his little freckles or not. Sometimes when I upload it, you can see them, and then sometimes you can't. But they kind of just on his forehead. But anyway, so his hair is fine. When I know which matte I use with him. It was supposedly the seller that sold it to me said it was the original Genesis varnish, and it says Genesis on it. It looks like it's Genesis, but when I started using it, that was not the original Genesis. It seemed like it was that new Genesis, because they had tried to make a new Genesis and it didn't work out. There was issues with it, and I believe that's what that person sold me, because that stuff is so sticky. You barely can pounce it onto the doll. It's so sticky. But I managed to use it, but I have the whole jar of that left too, because I don't like it, and I paid so much for it also. So anyway, the next Leo, let me see, can I get him propped back up like I had him? So the next Leo that I'm doing is the one I'm concerned with, because it is getting the same varnish that I put on this baby Brittany back here. So I'm thinking I probably should go over the next Leo before I try to root it or anything. I probably should go over that Leo with some new varnish that I'm going to order. It's the third company with varnish that I haven't tried. I'm going to give that one a try and see if I can work with that one better. I'm praying I can, because this is crazy with these varnishes. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. For those of you who paint, if you don't paint, it's not a big deal to you. But if you paint, that is a big deal, because it's so heartbreaking and just disappointing when you finish your doll. You have your doll looking how you want it to look, and then you go to root your doll, and all of a sudden you have issues with just rooting your doll. Like, I have never experienced that before with a doll's, like the hair or the rooting needle causing the paint to lift. I have never. Like, that is crazy. And I did everything to her the same way I normally paint and cure my dolls, and the same paints I'm using. The only thing that is new is that the varnishes. That's what's new. So, and the thinner that I have also is new. So I don't know like which thing is causing the problem, or if it's not any of that. Once I troubleshoot it with the Leo that I'm painting right now, the second Leo, once I troubleshoot that baby, I'm going to put the same, or put the new varnish on that baby when I get the new varnish, and I'm going to see what happens, and then I can know, okay, it was the varnish. But right now, I don't know what it is. So that's what I was looking at today. I just got to order my stuff, the new varnish that I want to order. And I was saying I was going to order that new varnish because I heard another collector, she also paints, and she was saying that she used a different one from the other two I have, and it worked good for her. And I was saying I was going to order it, but I haven't ordered it yet because I had just ordered the other varnish. So I wanted to use it first before I go order something different. And when you're painting the doll and everything and you finish the doll, she looks fine. But when you go rooting it, that's when I ran into the issue. The rooting caused the issue. Because you're interrupting the paint, of course, when you start poking that rooting needle in. So that's the test right there for that paint to stay on that doll and the varnish to stay on while you're poking, with that rooting needle. And that's where the problem came in. That's where the issue came in. Okay, so now get into the rest of the video before it runs too long. I have my Gabby Gale girl, Gabby Gale by Claire Taylor Dolls. Gabby Gale Awake. She is my Nia Grace, and I'm going to be changing her in this video. And then back there in the changing basket was my Kenya. She's still on my bed from the other day when I changed her. But she's just on my bed. She won't be getting changed. This video was mainly to share that information with you guys. Once I get the new varnish and I actually try it out, if it works good, then I'll share that varnish. Once I know for sure, I don't want to start naming anything until I try that one out. And then I'll share that with you guys, just in case anybody who hasn't tried it, it's new. If it works good, I'll share it. But the other ones that I'm having the issue with, I can't really share because it's two different ones. And then, like I said, the thinner is from one company and the varnish I got is the matte varnish is from another company. So I don't know if it's because those two things are not compatible, although they supposed to be, because they're all supposed to be heat set. They all supposed to be compatible with the Genesis, the original Genesis heat set. So I'm not sure then, okay, if it's supposed to be compatible, then what's the issue? What's causing the issue for me? So I don't know which thing is doing it. Or is it the vinyl? Like the doll's vinyl itself is compromised. Something's wrong with, with her vinyl. Oh my goodness. And then I was saying I'm gonna start painting my new toddler soon, the big toddler I got by Ping Lao. But I'm so happy I didn't start yet. And I'm also painting my Pickle, but I didn't put any of the varnish on Pickle yet. Pickle is still in the beginning stages of getting painted. So Pickle only got paint so far, the Genesis original heat set paint. I didn't put no varnish or anything yet. Thankfully, I did not put any varnish yet. So hopefully before I get to the varnishing with Pickle, I will figure out if this next varnish is going to work or not before I get to varnishing Pickle. Oh my gosh. But I was saying I was going to try out the new air dry paints, and I haven't done that yet. I was hesitant, but I don't know. Maybe I need to try to learn how to use air dry paints too. So now this onesie is humongous. This is an outfit I just got. It's Carter 6 months. It's cream colored. It has like this design on it, if you can see it. I don't know what you would call that design, but that's the onesie. These are the little bloomers. They're floral little bloomers, and it's a whole 3-piece set. And then this is the little cardigan that comes with it. It's like a coral color with these little wooden buttons, little cardigan. And it has like, I don't know what this design is either. It's these little. Okay, so I guess I was out of space and my camera cut off. So I don't know if I'm gonna put these videos together or if I'm going to have part 1 and part 2, because now my phone wants to act up. And I'm doing a late video, and of course something has to act up, right? So I don't know if you guys will see this in part 1 and part 2, but I'm dressing little Nia in this video. And I didn't dress her brother today. I was going to dress my Gabby Gale boy, but I decided to just dress Nia since I was going to come on with little Brittany and talk about her situation with her rooting. I figured I would dress my Gabby Gale boy in a whole different video. And that's probably a good decision because I need to figure out to make some space on my phone. What I'm doing is not working. I know somebody told me there's a video and stuff, like different videos you can watch to help you figure out how to make space on your phone. So I probably need to do that before I try making any other videos coming up this week. I need to make space on my phone because I cannot stand when I'm recording and it keeps cutting off. All right, so this is a 6 months Carter's. The onesie is big, but she's fitting it once you kind of squinch it up on her. Because I do put my Gabby Gales in 6 month size clothing sometimes. And then this is the little cardigan. And then the cardigan is going to cover the onesie anyway. So you can kind of have an oversized onesie underneath. You can't really tell. And then I'm going to just put some socks on her. If I can get this sweater unbuttoned. Oh my goodness, the buttons are so tight. Let me see, can I put this up on her without unbuttoning on all of those little buttons? Because they want to give me trouble and I don't want the camera to cut off again. I just deleted a little bit more stuff, so I'm trying to see, does that help? Can we finish this video? Can we do it without the phone cutting off again? Oh my gosh. I can't stand this. I need to get me a camera this year. That's what I need to do. Where I can have a memory card with space. That's how I used to upload my videos. And then I got an iPhone and I started using this phone because I like the camera quality on it. But every minute it tells you it's full, which is annoying. So I need to probably get me another, just a regular camera, a nice camera, and they are so expensive. But that way I can have a memory card and all of that and have just enough space as much as I need. All right, so that's the little cardigan. I really like this because it's a cardigan, but it's thin, like for spring. And I love the color of it. So I took out these socks, which are just off-white. And I think for now, I'm going to go with these. I didn't take out any shoes because the shoes I have do not match this cardigan. Like, I don't have any shoes to go with this. Like, she needs some little tan shoes or something. I probably have tan sandals, but not tan girl shoes. I don't think I have tan. I have to go looking through my shoes, which I didn't feel like doing that tonight. I was going to put these because these look like they could go with this sweater too. But these are actually blush and the sweater is coral. So I'm going to stick with the little off-white knee socks. And the socks are from Little Stocking Company. That's where I ordered those socks from. And then we have a bow, which I didn't know what color, but this one kind of looks like the color. So for now, we will put this bow. I wanted to spray her hair, but I don't want the video to cut off. Let's see, can I spray her hair a little bit? It's still going, so I think when I deleted the 2 things I deleted, they were taking up a lot of space. And it did allow me some more space. So this baby has human hair. This baby was painted and rooted by Gladys Reborn Nursery. So I didn't paint her. She is my one vinyl Reborn that is actually painted by a different artist other than myself. So I'm not going to comb her little curly afro. I'm going to just leave it. This spray just kind of brightened it up a little bit. And that is all I'm going to do to little Nia. So she is dressed. We managed to finish the video. Now let's see, can I edit the video and get everything put together. So you guys, I will let you know how everything works out with my little girl with the rooting. Once I get my next varnish in, hopefully within a couple of days, it'll get here and I'll let you guys know what happened with that whole situation. I will share that in an upcoming video. So that's all for this one, guys. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.